Hello, hello, hello. We are live. Hello. Oh, good morning to Lively Librarian. Thanks for joining us. Right, so today I have a lovely guest, and the name of our talk today is Spirituality, Dreams, and Mindfulness. So, hi, Susan.
Hi, how are you, Emily?
Yeah, good, thanks. You?
Good.
Right, let me introduce you properly so people know who you are, and we'll then talk a little bit from there and just see where we go.
Okay.
But I will remind our listeners and anybody watching now or in future that we have something beautiful lined up for the end. Susan's going to give us something lovely, so stick around to see what that is. Right, so as I said, I'm very excited to be talking to my special guest, Susan Mayer. So Susan celebrates the wisdom of healing through touch, sound, and the stars. Providing hands-on healing has been part of her life since childhood. In 1984, Susan experienced a 15-minute pre-event massage at a National Masters swim meet that changed her life, which I'm sure she will tell me about in a bit, but let me carry on. In 1991, while on a bike tour in Door County, Wisconsin, she discovered that massage therapy was gaining in popularity. She graduated from the Chicago School of Massage Therapy in 1992 and has completed thousands of hours of continuing education since. Of course, then the COVID-19 pandemic hit, which provided the opportunity to look for creative ways to provide relaxation and pain relief without touch. Susan found relief in the sounds of her singing bowls, creating supportive scents with essential oils, and diving into astrology, which is actually how we met. So, where to start? You've done so much, absolutely loads there. What I thought I'd start with then. Okay, so you were doing a swim meet for National Masters. So what's that?
It's an organization, I think it's worldwide, but I was swimming for, obviously, United States Masters. It's like post-college they added 100 to 104 age group several years ago. So adults who like to swim competitively or just for fun. And the national meet is where it's like the culmination of the season. And so that meet that I had the massage at was the culmination of the summer long course season, so swimming in a 50-meter pool. It was a 200-yard race, which is hard to cut a lot of time off of. But after the massage, I cut 10 seconds off of my best 200 IM time. And I figured if I could do that for other people, that would be pretty awesome.
Out of interest, do you know where you placed, or is it not quite like that?
I'm not that good a swimmer. I did a personal best. That was what I was concerned with.
Yeah. Well, that's amazing in itself that massage was able to do that for you. So then, what were you saying? You were saying about discovering massage therapy. So what was that like in learning that, and how you now use that?
Okay. We always massaged my dad's feet and walked on his back as a kid. So I think massage has also been part of my life forever. In high school, as one of the managers of the men's swim team, massage was my job. Tough job to work on high school boys to do massage, pre-event massage for them. And then I was looking for something because I had two little kids in 1991, two toddlers. And I was looking for something I could do while they were in preschool or something, so that I was home with them the majority of the time. And when I found that massage was growing, that seemed like a really good combination of the things I really enjoy, and having the freedom to be my own boss when I graduated to work my schedule around a child's school schedule. My massage practice was built by my choir director, who is a professional flutist and taught at a college in Chicago. And she had several students who had muscle pain from performance. And so she referred 3 of them to me for my final project. And the 4 of them built my entire practice. So for probably 20 years of my 31 years of being a massage therapist was devoted to the care of musicians and taking care of chronic pain in musicians. And I stepped away from that for various reasons, but a couple of years ago, I did go back to the National Flute Association convention, and people who had been in my classes for yoga and massage, do-it-yourself massage kind of things, and I also have been a personal trainer. Those people had then gone to training, so they were so they're my legacy. They took on the role of caring for musicians, so it's kind of satisfying.
Wow. So besides massage therapy, you've learned yoga as well then?
Yes, I did a teacher training I think I finished that in 2006. I studied with Gary Kraftsow and the American Vini Yoga Institute. So I have a 500-hour yoga certification.
Wow.
Yeah, the idea was to go on to yoga therapy, but that wasn't in the cards. So.
Well, I'm sure that within everything that you offer, that is therapeutic anyway.
Yeah.
So you're still delivering therapy, just that's how it was meant to be, I guess.
Yeah, and it's something that's easy to incorporate into somebody's like self-care package after they have their massage. It can give them a short yoga, routine to do, and so they blend pretty well.
Definitely. So for the benefit of our listeners, then, I am astrology-wise, I have a Gemini sun, I have a Capricorn moon, and I'm Gemini rising. Can you remind us what your top 3 is as well?
Sure. I am a Pisces sun, Gemini moon, and Capricorn rising. So,
well, we can see some of the Pisces playing out in what you've already discovered, already mentioned. For the benefit of people who don't know much in the way of astrology, Pisces is a water sign, and Pisces deals a lot with our dreams and the subconscious, but it's also, I find it deals with things like poetry, with imagination, spirituality. It's very, very sort of floaty, but also it's Pisces itself ends the season of winter. So if we're wrapping up things from the zodiac, having gone through all the signs before it, we're very much in a way of it is a flexible, mutable sign, but it's so dreamy, but so out there in some ways. But there's a beauty there because you've gone through all the other things that went before it, and then you birth into spring. It's a lovely place to be. And we were talking about swimming, we were talking about music, we were talking about yoga. It is so many different things. And that's definitely played out beautifully for you, hasn't it, in the way that you've learned lots of things there.
Yeah, and I think, it blends with the Capricorn for the entrepreneurial aspect of my career. But also, I also have Saturn in Capricorn. So I'm driven, but dreamy. And my Gemini moon, I think, is partly why I do so many things at the same time. So I think that's my little blend.
Oh yeah, definitely. And within that, so Gemini is that sign that is a lot about connection, and it's talkative, it's about intellect, learning, lots of different things. So for you, how does that play out as a moon sign?
Well, for moon emotions, I really need to talk about what's going on. But at the same time, I can be really quiet. I think that's the blend of the Pisces. it does. The Pisces, I think, I would tend to dive into the like go hide somewhere. But then the Gemini moon says, no, you need to talk to somebody. But I have an insatiable drive to learn. I went back to college when I was in my late 40s, and then went back for a master's degree in library science and finished that in 2014, I think. I don't know, I love taking classes. That was partly why I did Deborah's class, because it was something interesting. And I think the benefit, I hope I'm not going too far off track here, but the benefit of her class was letting me know that all those things did work together. And that's why I have all these different facets to me that I was told growing up that I needed to push aside. Like the creativity, don't do that. That doesn't serve, you know. Yeah, did that answer your question?
Yes. For people that aren't aware, the course that we both did was Astrology, which was Deborah Silverman's Applied Astrology. And it very much looked at astrology with the elements and had some kind of Jungian psychology basis to it, because that's what Deborah Silverman had herself, being what was it? What was she a therapist of? She was sort of like a counselling kind of thing. I can't remember her exact title, but she basically did a lot of some psychology and therapy and things in the past. So she had kind of like a counselling background, and then applied that to astrology with the elements. So we are very much looking at the elements and how they apply to people's lives and bringing that back down to basics. So if we look at what we're talking about today, with Pisces being a water sign, water is that space of intuition and reflection, and it likes to be within flow, and things that you might do to connect with water would be maybe to have a bath or shower, be by some water, go swimming, do lots of things that Susan clearly has talked about. And then we got Earth, very much grounded, being outside in nature, looking after plants or animals, that sort of thing. And there's just so much within the elements. And obviously air, we've talked about already a little bit, about talking lots and writing and intellect and learning and so much. What have I missed? Fire. Fire is the vibrancy. Fire makes you move. Fire is our energy. And without having a little bit of fire, we wouldn't be able to make ourselves move and achieve things. So happy new moon to everybody out there. We are in new moon energy, although I can say briefly where it is without throughout the world. I think it's just LA that has the peak of the new moon today.
I think here in Michigan it's tomorrow in the morning.
Yes, so in London, well, I'm in the UK, so in London it's at 5 minutes past 7 tomorrow in the morning. Sydney, 6:05 in the evening tomorrow, and then LA is 11:05 tonight, and New York 2:05 in the morning tomorrow. So yes, we are still within new moon energy. I like to say it's about a 3-day period, but some people say that, oh, excuse me, I need to cough as well. Sorry about that, talking lots.
I think with the new moon for me as being a Pisces, that it's a good time for me to think about, like what you said with the Pisces, is the last part of having moved through all the signs. Not only is new moon time to start initiatives type things, but it's fully starting a new cycle. rebirthing, and like we're coming into spring. So that's kind of what that's bringing up for me this time around.
Yes, well, new moons, as we both know, are often a time to actually reflect and give yourself that permission to slow down a bit. Just over that new moon phase, so that I say about 3 days, but some people say it's about 3 days before the peak of the new moon and 3 days afterwards. Oh, sorry.
Goodness.
Sorry about that. I don't know where this cough's come from. Oh my goodness. Someone just said put masks over the screen. Oh, it's nice to see that there's humour out there. Thank you.
So
I promise you, it's just because I'm talking lots. Maybe it's dry air in here or
dry.
something.
It's dry here for sure.
Where were we at?
We're talking about new moon.
Yes, actually, we could just talk about briefly what the aspects are of this new moon.
Okay.
Right. Oh, that was your chart. Where's the new moon chart? I've got that somewhere. Aha, yeah. So we've got so the sun and the moon obviously will be right next to each other.
I don't have that chart up for me.
Sorry.
I don't have that chart, so I can't comment.
Oh, no worries. And then we also have a conjunction with Saturn. So Saturn's that planet all about discipline and about structure, and it can slow things down anyway. So that to me is another indicator for us to slow down a bit, although it's what's called a out of sign conjunction. So Saturn is on the last degree, the anaretic, the 29th degree of Aquarius. So although, yes, it's very much the structure and the discipline behind how we are appearing with Pisces energy. So Pisces, that watery, fluid energy, the mystic, the dreamer, the spiritual. It's kind of asking us to slow down and lean into that more, in my opinion. Do you have anything to add to what that aspect plays out as?
No, I think that's pretty much what I think of it as well. And I think that's a good thing for Pisces. It's, discipline plus slow, letting there be the time for integrating with intuition and, letting those dreams incubate a little bit more. So that would be what I would think of for this as Saturn starts to enter into Pisces at the conjunction of the sun.
Yeah, beautifully put. And I think that's also another thing that we don't often think about with Pisces. Although I did sort of I kind of hinted that there's sort of like poetic ways of speaking. But yeah, you beautifully put that into a lovely sort of dreamy way of presenting it. Oh, wow, we've got so many comments. I'm just going to see whether there's anything that we want to show. We're definitely grounded. That's nice to know. So somebody said that they were born with sun and moon in Capricorn. So that would be a new moon. So I don't know whether people are aware of this, but people with new moon who are born at a new moon generally have more of a sort of internal reflective quality about a lot of their personality, whereas people born at a full moon will often be more sort of outwardly facing in their way that they show up. So I guess some of that can be about sort of external and internal validation, whether we allow ourselves to give our own authority or we want to rely on others to support us in some respects. I don't know whether you agree with me there, Susan.
Yeah, that's what I always think of. I mean, the person who is born under a Leo full moon is going to be really vibrant and able to be in the public eye and comfortable about it.
So, should we get back to what we were saying previously?
Sure.
Oh, yes. Morning Star as well said introvert versus extrovert. That's what I was trying to say. Morning Star is on the ball. Thank you. I can hear your cats.
I was just going to ask if you could hear my poor kitty who got shut in my bedroom, so he wasn't on screen with me. He's a Leo, and he likes to take center stage.
Oh, wanting to be a lion or a tiger or something.
Lion, I think. Yeah, I think a lion.
Oh, brilliant. Right. So, what are we talking about? Is there anything you'd like to talk about?
Well, I guess what I one of the things that I discovered that I really like to do through the pandemic is combine doing a mini reading of people's birth chart with creating either a sound healing for them based on the birth chart, or create an aromatherapy blend for them based on the birth chart. So I guess that Gemini got to do more than one thing at once.
Yeah.
But it's always been my belief that almost anything, even if it's sore muscles, needs an integrative approach, that just one modality can help, but it's probably not going to be the absolute thing that's going to take care of everything. So, I either blend yoga or sound or scent with what I do. So, it's other parts of the chart too. It's like I have Venus in Aquarius, and so being kind of out there with how I view what's beautiful to me. That's part of how I guess I came about all that stuff. But I almost always have some kind of oil. Today, my oil is it's maritime pine. It's from, this bottle happens to be from Portugal, distilled from it's a pine tree, obviously maritime pine, but it's a pine tree that has its roots in the ocean. So it grows on the side of water. And I just, Pisces, Capricorn, I love the idea that my feet can be in the water, but I can be tall and strong and grounded at the same time. So using it as an energetic support, as well as the other properties that pine provides. I go ahead.
I was telling, I just saw a comment come up. That's all. It made me laugh, so I might as well show it just because it made me laugh.
I think that's totally me. I will not dance in public.
But we'll moonwalk through the kitchen. Oh, that's brilliant.
That's funny.
Oh, so what I was going to ask you, so how did you get into essential oils?
I took a class in 1996, I think, in pregnancy massage, and she used essential oils to support people during their pregnancy, during labor, and during postpartum. And then she also taught a class in reflexology using hot stones, and it was called Hot Rockin' Sweet Feet Reflexology. And it was using essential oils with a carrier that was castor oil and shea butter, and using that as the medium to work on people's feet. And I've always liked smelling things. I mean, I was the kid who went and smelled every perfume and every aftershave in the stores. I tried when I was a kid to make perfume from the lilies of the valley, which didn't work. But they smelled good. I mean, the flowers still smell good. And so the Hot Rockin' Sweet Peat class really piqued my interest in that, and I wanted to know more than the 8 oils that were in her kit. And now I have way too many oils probably, but I love putting together scents for people, and I've taken classes from a bunch of different people in the United States and abroad, and again, kind of the unconventional way of doing it. I prefer to create a scent that's specific to the person who's using it versus creating a bunch of generic things. I mean, I do have those in my product line, but even if you just are dealing with stress, the smells that smell good to you might not smell good to somebody else. Smells that you find stress reducing might not be stress reducing to somebody else, even though they have the chemistry to do that. If the scent has a negative memory attached to it, it's not going to work for you. So I do like doing the custom stuff.
Amazing. Personally, I don't like lavender. That's the only thing that I really can't stand.
Yeah. Well, and sometimes one of the things that happens is that most people are used to the chemically created, the lab created smell of lavender, which the big stores want because they want their product to always smell like that lavender every time. But I think I have 5 different lavenders, and it's pretty amazing how different they can smell, because it's like wine. It depends on the soil that they grew in, how much water, how much rain they got, how much heat they got. So it all depends on that as to what the lavender actually smells like. So you might like lavender, but you might find a lavender that you like, I guess is what I'm saying.
Well, I have rhinitis, so it makes me sneeze anyway if I'm out in someone's garden that has lavender. So I'm an exception to the rule, probably.
It's not everybody's favorite. It's one that everybody knows, I think, as a go-to for relaxation and sleep, but not everybody likes it.
I like things like sandalwood and bergamot and jasmine. I love jasmine. I love jasmine so much.
Yeah, and bergamot's going to have the same property for you to help you relax and sleep that lavender would. So.
So what kind of offerings do you actually give your clients? What kind of packages and things have you got available?
I do like a giant package that includes astrology, scent, sound, and a tarot reading or intuitive reading. And then they kind of shrink from there to just an individual session of any of those. I do have them I do mostly online for those type of things, but and I can do scent creation online, but it's more fun when somebody's in person to do that, where they can actually smell everything. And so I do individual sessions with sound, aromatherapy, and massage therapy, and but usually if I'm doing astrology, it's usually combined with either the sound or the scent just because I like that synergy of the two of them. And then I do, we've always called them reflexology parties because that was what I did mostly, but taking that idea of the aromatherapy mixed with reflexology and going to people's homes, and it's kind of a community building thing as well, where there's food and snacks and tea, and then the people pick the oils they want, and then they get their feet worked on. So I do that, but I do that with sound also. So it can be reflexology plus sound or just sound. And then coming up in April, I'm going to a library that's nearby here to do a group sound immersion for them. So now that, knock on wood, it's not going to snow a whole lot more, I can start traveling again. I like in person better than I like online, but I'm grateful for the ability that we have to do online things so I can meet people all over the world.
Yeah, that's brilliant. Well, we wouldn't have met otherwise, would we?
Right.
I'm grateful for that too. I did try and actually purchase some of your things, but I saw they weren't available in the UK. Do you think you'll do that at some point?
I have to figure that out. The shipping is so expensive that I don't know that it would warrant. I mean, my products are small and not very expensive, so the pricing to send them overseas is a lot. So until I find something that isn't, well, things have to change, I think, worldwide for prices to come down on the shipping. Yeah. Sorry about that. You'll have to come visit all of us in the US, and then you can put them in your suitcase.
Sounds like a good plan. But obviously a lot of your offerings you do online as well, so that's good news. If people can still experience your treatments and therapies online, it's just the physical products, just to clarify.
Yeah, the physical products can't be shipped, but I can do any of the online things anywhere.
Brilliant.
Yep.
How long have we been? We've been about half hour, haven't we? What's still to talk about?
Well, since the theme is spirituality and dreams,
yeah.
One of the things I got introduced to through Deborah was I got introduced to Bonnie Worth, who is a medium who lives in Canada, and it's kind of the thing I think I've been looking for a long time. When I've taken a lot of energy work classes and they never satisfied me, and doing her mediumship training has kind of been the thing that I think I was really looking for. That kind of puts order to things I've always been able to do all my life that I thought everybody did. And that's been really wonderful transformation that's happened over the last couple of years. And for example, a massage client said to me a couple months ago, when your hands stop moving and you're just hanging out there, what are you doing? And I was like, I don't really know. What am I doing? I said, what are you feeling? And she said it was like a wave of comfort and relief was going through me. I was like, oh, well, that's sort of what I was doing. I never know with people how involved you can go in talking about the more esoteric things. But I just assumed that's what everybody did. And so I said that to her. I was like, doesn't every massage therapist do that? And she's like, no. So, I mean, it's things like that like when I touch somebody, I can know, even if they haven't told me, where their pain is. And again, I just assumed everybody did that. So, but that's been something that has connected me spiritually to kind of that deep longing that I had that I couldn't name, that I didn't know the name of.
That's amazing. For people who don't know, Pisces is actually the ruler of the feet within the human body. So it's not really that surprising that you've been working with feet.
Right? Yeah. And for the spiritual stuff, I have Neptune in the 10th house. So it's not surprising that I do all these Piscean things for work.
Yes, because the 10th house is all about our reputation, but also about our ambition and, yes, to some extent, our work. So, yeah. And Neptune is that ruler of Pisces. Neptune's that planet which does look at our dreams and our imagination. Very Piscean energy. Beautiful. I actually have Neptune in Pisces as well, but it's in my 11th house.
Okay.
Actually, no, I don't have Neptune in Pisces. I have Jupiter in Pisces. Tell a lie. Expansion of sort of spirituality and community because of the 11th house factor there. But I don't have Neptune. I can't think off the top of my head. But yeah, that's amazing. I mean, I'm guessing you have lots in the way of intuitive hits or spiritual downloads just being out and about somewhere, or
I do. I really hate. Yeah, I hate being in crowds. It's very overwhelming. I've kind of also learned to turn it off, but I still I don't like being around a ton of people. I'd rather be on the beach alone. I think I can count on one hand how many concerts I've been to, other than like symphony concerts. But the big energy of the real close together, I can't do that. And I didn't know that I was just kept touching everybody's energy and pulling it in. Yeah.
Because the thing with water is it absorbs things. It does absorb energy, and that is it's very obvious in that respect. If you know astrology, you realize why, and that is the beauty of astrology. You can work out why things are, why or how you are the way you are, and what your likely challenges, gifts, what will come more easily, what won't come so easily, and what to work on. And obviously, anything that we can give as an astrologer is just suggestion. We always have free will. So I just want to say that to people, that obviously, just like I think our friend Lisa was talking about this, that you're not always going to have the hairstylist that cuts your hair in the right way. It's the same with an astrologer or any kind of therapist. Although technically we're not therapists, it is a therapeutic relationship that you often have with a client. It's the one of trust and holding space. So where you might go to one hairdresser and you think, oh, they're amazing, someone else might not think they're amazing, or they might not be the right person to cut your hair or see your vision of what you want your final cut to look like. So it's kind of, we as astrologers will hold space for people in different ways, and our personalities and our interpretations will be different from someone else's just because of who we are. And if that resonates with you, who we are, then by all means book readings. But if for any reason it doesn't, that's okay too. But we'll all have slightly different interpretations, although the planets do tend to have certain significations of keywords or different ways that they play out in relation to other planets or within different placements within a chart, within different houses. So yeah, there'll always be something slightly different and unique about each person. That's why no two charts are the same, and it's so interesting. Oh, sorry.
And we have our own biases. So things I've learned in my life and have experienced, I'm going to see the energy of the planets differently than you are. So even though we might be saying the same thing, it's a different spin on it that might land with somebody versus another.
Oh, that's interesting. What's this? So Neptune trine midheaven in the natal chart is said to be an indication of having the palm stream mystic across in the dominant hand. able to consciously use psychic ability for gain. I don't know whether I quite get that, but Neptune from midheaven. It depends what the midheaven is. It depends what sign the midheaven's in, really. But yeah.
I don't know anything about palmistry, so
I don't know anything about palmistry myself, but that's an interesting thought. So thank you for sharing. So when we think about astropalmistry. Oh, okay. Oh, thank you. Yeah, I mean, I get little things that come through as well at times. It'd be often a random song or a random smell, and I think, well, can anybody else smell that? And you realise, actually, no, it's just me, which is really weird. Or
well, it's one of the soul senses. It's like claircognizance or clairaudience. You can get smells that our spirit smells.
Yeah, there's just lots of different interesting things. So with mediumship, is that you basically get a lot of those things come through, or how does that work? How does that play into readings or that you might give or experiences?
If I'm just using it like in conjunct with other things I'm doing, like I said, with touch, I'll know things about people. So a lot of what I experienced during like teaching yoga and doing hands-on work was just connecting with that person and their spirit team or their guides or whatever. So there's that aspect to it. But then like with tarot, I know the classical meanings, but I tend to do it more intuitively, and that's kind of comes from that mediumship skill. And then, of course, there's the using it to talk to or connect with people who have passed and bring messages to living loved ones. And I think I've always done that too, but I just, again, thought everybody could hear their grandmas, you know? But I guess it's for me, it's what most people would call intuition. That's how I use it.
I'm the same, actually. I do know classical meanings for tarot and things, but I find intuition can be really strong, and sometimes reading the situation you can see in front of you, it feels like it's staring you in the face, and if you ignore it, it's not giving the most honest or accurate reading. So I do love to tune into that. Actually, I feel called to pull a card.
Okay. What deck are you using?
What's this one called? The Moon and Stars Tarot.
Okay.
Obviously.
I wonder why you picked that.
I wonder. Could it be because my channel is Lunar Pumpkin and my entire business, and I have a wonderful moon obsession? Well, what do we need to know for this new moon energy that will support our listeners, our audience, as well as ourselves? We have the 8 of Wands.
Cool.
So I think about having strength in how we are creating and how we are showing up with our projects and things. And I kind of think about how we're wanting to go too fast at times, and linking back to the sort of astrology side as well, that Saturn conjunction is kind of saying slow down as well. It's kind of like the cards are echoing that. What do you think?
Well, wands are fire, so it's that
Yeah.
it is a fast-moving thing. I think of it as something's been put in motion, but we don't know how it's going to end yet. So you're in that fast-moving. I'm producing. I'm enjoying, trying to get to the finish line, and sometimes you do need to slow down to do that.
Yeah. Yeah, it feels like it wants to go faster than actually maybe it should in some respects.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind
Yeah,
of what my intuition was telling me. So
yeah,
yeah, we need to sort of honor where we are to some
mm-hmm.
respects as well.
Yeah. I have a deck that's a cat deck. Surprise, surprise. And the Eight of Wands is a cat with the zoomies. That's like in that like I don't know if you don't have cats, then you don't know what cat zoomies are, but they just like all of a sudden will tear around the house, and their ears are back and their tail is poofed, and that's kind of what I always imagine when I think of Eight of Wands is that you've gotten put in motion, and you kind of don't know the focal point.
Mm. Beautiful. That's interesting. I kind of half agree. What do you think?
I like the cards because it is a tool that I use.
Yeah.
Especially, I mean, I really got back into them when I was going through a time of great deep grieving, and I didn't have the mental capacity to do all the things that I normally would do. And the card gave me a focus point that I could journal on. So, yeah, I do make the intuition based thing combined with the traditional numerology and tarot meanings. But to me, they're a journaling tool more than anything else. Where it's like, I don't know how to get through this situation. Bring me one pointedness, and the cards help me with that.
Yeah, I do often think that what comes up is what resonates as well. Often, it's what's needed, but it can be as well as your interpretation is going to cloud that at points as well. But it's a case of what it says. You can't really ignore it. But the same token, your intuition is going to guide you too. So it's a pairing of both.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think you can have one without the other.
Mm-hmm.
I do feel called to kind of pull an oracle as well.
Okay.
So this is, I seem to be up the wrong way. So I've got a deck that's actually by Cassandra Reinhardt, Yoga with Cassandra, Radiant Joy. It's just daily affirmations that she's got. I mean, I've followed her for ages. I've been into yoga a lot myself, and that was kind of my healing path, which eventually I found working with the lunar cycle through her, and then I found Yasmin Boland, who does Moonology diaries and Moonology books and card decks and lots of things. Right. Well, I'm just going to go with it. They're all up different ways, but we'll get something. I was trying to put them up the right way, but I thought this would take hours because I'm just trying to do too much at once. So what do we know? Let's find the first card that jumps. Oh, that one's wanting to come out. I have healthy boundaries in all areas of life.
That's a good one for Pisces. I think that's a weakness in Pisces.
I know, and it's got a lovely what do you call it? It's like a Metatron cube kind of thing. And I'm doing sacred geometry at the moment as well. Basically, I got a sacred geometry drawing book and realised that oh, I've been drawing sacred geometry for a lot of my life. Just like grabbing a compass and drawing lots of overlapping circles and things. And then you see the seed of life, which is basically have kind of a flower shape with about 3 or 4 petals or something. And then you've got lots of different other ones that you draw on top of them. You can make shapes like the triquetra, which is the Trinity knot, which links into a lot of spiritual concepts like the maiden, the mother, and the crone. Strangely, that is what is linked to the lunar cycle. And then basically all of nature relies on these repeating patterns, which are made up mostly of circles and triangles. And you're like, oh, wow, I've been drawing some of that.
Cool.
So yes, boundaries, as you say, yes, boundaries are a thing that I wouldn't say just Pisces, I would say water signs in general. Often trying to keep healthy boundaries is a challenge.
Mm-hmm.
Do we want to head into our next little bit, which
Sure.
involves you with a lovely gift? So would you like to tell us what it is and what it's based on?
Sure. You can see my gong behind me. I'm going to do a little sound healing or sound integration based on the chart of the sky today. So I don't exactly know where to put my laptop so that you're not just seeing my back, but you're seeing instruments. So it's just kind of going to be here, but you'll probably see mostly my back. So I apologize for that. But you're invited to close your eyes, lay back, or just sit comfortably and breathe. Don't forget to breathe and enjoy.
That's a good one. I'm just going to take myself out of the frame to allow you to do your thing, and I'll come back when you're near a close.
Okay. Yeah. So just remember too that silence is a sound. So if you don't hear things, just kind of enjoy the silence as well.
That was so soothing.
Oh, thank you. Do you have any questions about any of the instruments?
Oh, yeah. Just what kind of things do you use?
The thing I started and ended with, this is like a water drum, and this one was made in Moldova. And I like, it sounds kind of like a stream to me. I like that one. The chime is like a wind chime, but they're called koshi chimes. You can get them most places, but they come in the elements. So this is fire, because there isn't a whole lot of fire in the sky right now, so that's why I picked that one. The big gong is a lunar gong, so that's why I picked that.
Amazing, thank you.
The bowls are different. These shinier ones, these are man-made, or well, they're all man-made, but these are more machine-made than these ones that have a darker finish. Are they were made long ago. This is a tuning fork, and this one happens to be tuned to the planet Jupiter.
Which is the one planet we have at the moment that's in fire.
Yeah. So, and then over here, I don't know if you can see it. There, this is a drum. It's like a pan drum, and it's called a rav, and they're made in Russia. Most of these things I got because I heard them and I loved them and I wanted one.
I love that. I love the drum.
Yeah, so it's been fun kind of getting to know all the different characters of each one. So
yeah, particularly as you made it all with the planets and the aspects in mind, didn't you? Which I found absolutely fascinating.
Yeah, it's fun. It's like a puzzle, you know. So thank you for letting me do that for you guys.
Thank you. It's a beautiful treat. So, shall we wrap up about now that everyone's been kind of thoroughly chilled out? So, where can people find you, and any kind of offerings or anything that you'd like to share?
Okay, I have Instagram and Facebook. I'm at Susan L. Mayer LLC, and my website is Susan Mayer LLC without the L because somebody else had that. So it's a little confusing, but my website is listed on both of my socials. For people who are listening, I haven't made the code yet. I forgot to do that before we signed on because I was more concerned with setting that up. You can take a 10% discount off of anything that I can do virtually.
Oh, that's amazing.
And the code will be, let's see what the code, we'll put, the code will just be podcast.
Okay.
So we'll put that in, and I look forward to working with people if they feel called to.
Brilliant. Thank you so much, Susan.
Oh, thank you, Emily.
I'm going to end the live, but you can stay on for a bit if you want to.
Okay.
All right. Thank you, everybody, for joining us.
Bye-bye.
Bye.